Welcome to the Gustavo Preston Company customization of NAV 2013 client video series. On this particular video, we will be talking about customizing lists. So list view in NAV is a very important is a very important user interface, and customizing that is key to a lot of the workflow you're going to be doing. We're starting off here in our role center, and first of all, there are a number of ways to access the lists, but usually your lists are going to be in your navigation pane. So we talked about how to customize your navigation pane and add lists to it. So let's just go ahead and click on the sales order list right here. When we do that, this is a list of all of our all sales overs, opened or released. So there are a few customizations that we can do with that. First of all, we can customize the header height. So the header is right here. And we can do that in a couple of different ways. The easiest way to do it is simply to go to the header, right click, and then choose header height. And in the new version of NAV, you can choose one line, 2 line, or 3 lines. So if we hit 3 lines, we see that it expands to show us 3 lines of information as opposed to 1. If I want to change it back to 2, for instance, I would right click on the header, choose header height, and then let's do 2. All right. Another way of customizing the header height is to go to the blue back office button, go down to customize, and then choose columns. Oh, I think I messed that up. All right, discard what I just said on that. Header height is only accessible from the header itself. The other thing you can do with this is you can change the width of columns by clicking on the line between columns, holding it, and then dragging it. In the 2009 Classic client, you would be able to click and hold and drag columns around, but you're not able to do that in this new version of NAV. What you want to do is you want to use the functionality called Choose Columns. So you right click on the header, hit Choose Columns, and then here is a customization dialog box that should be familiar to you by this point. On the left, we have all the available columns. This is all the stuff that NAV has been programmed to allow you to see. And then over here on the right is all the stuff that you have chosen to see. So you can add from this column to this column, where you can remove things from the what is being shown column. You can move things up and down. And on the list view, there's something very cool, and that's called Add the Freeze Pane. So if I go and add a freeze pane, it puts a freeze pane right there. I don't actually want it right there, I want it up one, so I'll highlight it, hit move up, and then what I'm going to do is, to show how the freeze pane works, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add a bunch of fields that I don't really need. So I go ahead and hit OK, and the list view is populated. Now see this darker line, this is in my freeze pane, and the cool thing about the freeze pane is as you scroll across to see all those extra columns I added, it allows me to still see what number document, the cell 2 customer number and the cell 2 customer name. So I can go all the way across and see all the information and still know what order I'm on. If you want to say I don't want to see the customer, you simply right click at the header, hit choose columns, move the customer number down below the freeze pane, hit OK, and see now my freeze pane has moved. So this is a very handy way of customizing the list view. Now, this is also available in the back office. So if you go to the blue button up here, click Customize, choose Columns, you have the same dialog box. Now, as with all the others, this has a Restore Defaults. So I'm going to click that and hit OK. I've removed the freeze pane and I've removed all those other columns that I added. Notice it didn't change my column spacing, it just changed the columns to what the default was. So that is the basic of customizing a list. However, there are some other things that you can customize, and one of those is over here on your right hand side you have what are called fact boxes. Fact boxes show statistics about the customer, details about the customer, notes, and other things. So if right here I'm on climate heating and cooling. If I actually come over here and click on the customer number, it opens climate heating and cooling's customer card. Very handy. I can see their balance, outstanding orders. I can see their phone number, their email address. If I click on email address, it shoots an email off to the, oh, I just closed NAV. Oh, that's no good. All right, open it back up. Be sure and click the correct X when you're closing things. So back into sales orders and climate heating, cooling. So we can choose which of these fact boxes are shown and what order they are in. Simply go over to the back office button, click on Customize, and then choose fact boxes. See right here? So right now we have 3 fact boxes that are being shown: customer statistics, customer details, and notes. And we have 2 that are not: chart part and links. We'll go over charts much later. Charts are a new feature of NAV 2013, and so we'll train you on how to use chart parts later. Links, however, is very useful. I'm going to want to add that over there. Links is the document attachment that we use. And let's say I want links to be moved up to the top. So if I hit OK, you'll notice now I have links, customer statistics, customer details, and then notes here on the bottom. And I can use this scroll bar on the right hand side to scroll between the different fact boxes. So, all right. Okay, so let's say you're not interested in looking at the fact boxes. You can click on the back office button, the blue button, select Customize, and then you can uncheck the fact box pane. If I uncheck that, fact boxes are gone. My preference is that everybody use fact boxes, so I'm going to go back into Customize and do the fact box pane back up. All right, the last thing that we want to talk about on customizing lists is filtering. So right now, near the top, we have this filtering bar, and you can filter by different criteria. Now, filtering will be a different subject, but if you expand this filtering bar, area, you can see that you can actually sort by a lot of different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want the status to be open. So I'm going to choose Show Results where I want to see status is, and then I check and I can see open. And notice that the status is only the open ones. Now I want to see only for a particular salesperson. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to hit Choose Columns. Then I'm going to go down here and find Salesperson Code right here and hit Add. Okay. Now let's say that I only want to see open sales orders for Tom Quinn. So the status is open and the salesperson code is TQ. So type in TQ and select it. And then go to the next, hit tab, and so we've got 6 open. So let's say, okay, so that's exactly the information I want. So that's pretty cool, but you know Tom's going to go out and sell another fire pump system here soon, and we're going to ship some of these, so this list is going to change. But the filter criteria is going to remain the same. I still want to see Tom's open sales orders. So we can do something really cool with this filter. You've just built a custom filter on information you want to see. If you go up to the top where it says sales orders in green, and you click on that down arrow, if you go to the very bottom, it says Save View As. So I'm going to click on that. And it allows us, if you read this carefully, it says add this view to the navigation pane. And then it gives you a chance to edit the title. So I'm going to take sales orders TQ open. You can name it whatever you want. I'm going to add it to my home button. And I just hit OK. I'm going to go ahead and restart it so that NAV picks up the changes. And then, let's see. If we go to sales orders, see right here, sales orders TQ opened. So I added that to my list of sales orders filters. So now let's look how this customization helped us. So the first thing you can do is you can say, here's a list of sales order filters. When I click on this top level sales orders, this lists all sales orders. If I click down here, shipped not invoiced, you see that I have the shipped not invoiced is selected, and so I have a limited number of fields here. Then the other one is completely shipped not invoiced. That is a different list. Tom Quinn's open sales orders, all open sales orders, all sales orders that are ready to ship or partially shipped, or even those that are delayed. So what I have done with this is I have made it so that I can have different lists. So if I want to see all of the sales orders from more than one salesperson, I can do that. So if we go to Tom Quinn, we can say the salesperson code is Tom Quinn, but we can also we could add another one to that as well. We'll cover that in filtering. But that is a very useful bit of customization for you. I think that is all we've got. It is. So thank you for listening, and come back for more customization help.